All right, these pronouns getting a little carried away, don't you think? They, them, ze, her, hair. There are all kinds of strange variations. And Pamela Ricard, a math teacher in Kansas, well, she refused to call a trans student by these pronouns and by their preferred name. Well, she said it violated her religious beliefs. This happened at the school, let's see, the Fort Riley Middle School. The teacher got in trouble. She was suspended for 3 days in April of 2021. She retired a few months ago. She sued the school and won. I believe it was a lawsuit. And yes, $95,000 she just settled. And the winning lawyer, her lawyer, is Caleb Dalton, legal counsel at the Alliance for Defending Freedom, attorney for Kansas school teacher Pamela Ricard. And welcome, sir, and congratulations on your victory.
Thanks so much, Greg, for having me on. Appreciate it.
You bet. So take us through it. She's in class and somebody approached her, one of her students, and said what?
Well, I think one thing to realize that we're talking about middle school here, and Pam has been a middle school math teacher for years. She loves all her students, and she has had a few students approach her and ask her to use different sexed pronouns and names to refer to them. This particular instance wasn't even the students that are approached her. It was another staff member. But what the school did was enact a rule that forces teachers to endorse an ideology by using these pronouns and saying, yes, I really believe that even though you say you're, that even though you're a boy, I really believe you're a girl. That's lying to students. But what was worse, the school actually forced Pam to lie to parents and deceive them because she wasn't even allowed to tell parents that their students were using this different gender identity while at school. And of course, parents should be directly involved in the upbringing of their children.
You know, the most disturbing thing that I just heard from you, multiple students were asking for this. And, even in Kansas, northeastern Kansas, they're asking. So this poison is really pervading everywhere. All right, so she refused and they actually suspended her.
Yeah, what she did actually was attempt to accommodate the student. So she used the student's last name instead of the student's first name. And also she was avoiding using the pronoun that the student didn't want to use anymore. So she was accommodating the student, but apparently that wasn't enough for the school. Even though at that time they didn't even have a written policy, they suspended her for 3 days. And then when she came back, they enforced this new parental communications policy. And that's when they started telling Pam and all the rest of the teachers and staff there that they were not allowed to notify parents about how their students, their children, were identifying at school. And that's actually one of the things that the judge focused on in this ruling against the school district, was that school officials should be working alongside parents, not keeping them in the dark and denying them the ability to know this essential information about their own children.
Just to be clear, Fort Riley Middle School is a public school, correct?
That's correct, subject to the First Amendment.
Wow. Hey, can I ask you something? As a Christian, I'm a Christian. I mean, if somebody asked me, and I'm not a teacher, if they asked me, I probably would go along with it. I wouldn't want to be forced. And if they were an adult, our religion doesn't dictate that we not use these pronouns, or does it?
Well, I think Pam's faith tells her that she can't lie. She can't engage in intentional deception. And that's what the school was requiring her to do here. She was being required to lie to students by telling them, and to other teachers and students around who would hear her say, she, her, to refer to a boy, or vice versa. That's not really telling the truth when you know that it's not really true. And then even more than that, she was being forced to keep that information from parents and really to deceive them. And that she couldn't go along with that in good conscience. It violated her faith.
I understand. By the way, she retired in May 2022, just a few months ago. Was that her intention, or did this whole kind of, this is probably a traumatic thing. Did she retire prematurely?
So she did want to move to be closer to her grandkids. I can't help but think that the way she was treated by Fort Riley Middle School had something to do with an early retirement, but thankfully she was able to move to be closer with her grandkids and spend some more time with family. She's actually teaching in another district now and able to be closer to her grandkids and spend some time with them.
Well, Caleb Dalton, great work. We can find you at the Alliance Defending Freedom, alliancedefendingfreedom.org. Please give our best to your client, Pamela, and many, many thanks.
Thank you.
All right.